Well, hey, what's going on, guys? It is Dave Beaver, Pastor Dave Beaver. To some of you, welcome to tonight's episode of Grappling with Life. Now, if you've never watched the show, let me give you a little background. This show, Grappling with Life, is an opportunity to have people come on and share their life stories. Here's what I know. Whether you do jujitsu or you're involved in any kind of combat sport, martial arts, or grappling, that's cool. But I know this. Every single human being is grappling with life, relationships, careers, finances, their past, frustrations, whatever it may be. And so my goal through grappling with life is to bring these practitioners of jujitsu who are grapplers, whether they're world champions, they're hobbyists, their families, whoever it might be. And I want their stories to be used to inspire you, to encourage you, to keep grappling with life. Right? You got to keep getting up every day, grappling with life until we are successful, moving forward inch by inch. So listen, I'm super pumped tonight to have a guest on tonight. His name is Kevin Devries, and we're super excited. We're super excited to have him. So Kevin, what's up, man?
Not too much.
Awesome. I was trying before we came on to make sure I didn't butcher your last name, but
Yeah.
if so let me ask you this, man. Now it's no secret you're a competitor, you're an academy owner, you are part of Pedigo, which right now is probably one of the hottest names and teams in all of jiu-jitsu, on a global scope. So, but before we get into all that great stuff, man, here's what I'd like to do. Who is Kevin, man? Who is Kevin? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you come from? What was life like for you before jiu-jitsu? Who is Kevin tonight?
Oh, that's a big one. Well, I grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, little town, probably south of there, a little ways, called Caledonia. It was a little town. It's blown up pretty big now, but yeah, I grew up in a pretty conservative Christian Reform family. I went to private Christian schools my entire life, then went to Calvin College, and then after that it kind of got crazy. that after that point it kind of went off the rails a little while. Then like we said, grappling with life kicked in.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I got Oh, sorry. I'm adopted. I got one adoptive sister that I
Cool.
grew up with. And then 2 years ago, I just met my adoptive parents in the family, and I got a half sister and a full sister as well. Then on my biological side.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool, man. That's awesome. So growing up there in Michigan, and it's almost hard for me to say Michigan, man. I'm a diehard Columbus, Ohio
Yeah,
State
yeah,
guy.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I grew up a Michigan fan too, so it's the full brunt of it.
Oh man, this is it's even more proof that jujitsu brings everyone together, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
so let's talk a little bit, man. Growing up, man, did you play any other sports?
I I
What
was
was
like
that
the
like?
traditional American like sports probably bring up. I played baseball, basketball, football, and cross country in high school. Um, did that my entire life growing up. Never, never heard like our school didn't have wrestling or anything, so that was never really even in the options or even on the radar at all.
Nice, dude. So it's funny, and when you kind of start to talk about your story, you grew up in this conservative Christian home. I understand that lifestyle, right? Probably very much the same. And then let's just talk about that a minute, man. Right?
Mhm.
So I don't ever tell anybody out of the gate, like, I don't go, hey, my name's Dave Beaver. I'm a pastor, because red flags go up. People think you're crazy. They think you're going to be
Mhm.
super judgmental. They think you're going to be like this, I don't know, this very harsh, hard person. So you grow up in this world, you go to, private Christian school, you go to Calvin College. And then, dude, let's just talk a little bit what happens, man. Like you said, then grappling with life starts. What was that period of your life like?
Oh, that was probably the first time I was exposed to the real world then. And then so it was
Mm,
like first time no parental again, first time exposed to alcohol, drugs, all the vices of the world, and I loved all of them.
yeah, yeah. Talk a little bit about that. I know in some of our conversations offline, you've made mention that one of the people's stories that inspired you that encouraged you kind of to maybe get some life change in turn was UFC fighter Matt Brown. Good friend of mine. Let's just talk a little bit about when did you come into that journey where, you've been exposed to real life, things are maybe not going the way you want them to go, and you got to do something, right? So talk about that a little bit.
That was probably a decade down the road, or almost. Probably when I was about 27, 28. I had just, I actually had lived in China for 2 years,
Wow.
and I was a chef. I was like working over there, and then I got injured, and then I got actually in a street fight over there. Like my big mouth got myself jumped outside of a bar. Totally deserved it. Totally. And then that led me to being injured. And when I was injured, like pretty much probably anyone during that time period, I was very easily, they were just writing oxy prescriptions like candy. And so they were just, I got hooked on oxys. And then while I was laid up, I was able to kick the habit pretty early after getting, like I caught it pretty early, but like definitely like while I was laid up, it was like kind of the same time Matt was having probably his best run through the UFC.
Nice. Yeah.
So
And
like,
so his story's out there. You're hearing it. You're going through this kind of active soul searching, life searching, transitional moment, right?
yeah. And it's probably like, it's so cliche of like people like in this last 5-10 years or whatever, but like Rogan for sure was like the reason of like why I started jujitsu, why I found Matt Brown, what got me clean. I mean, without his podcast, I never would have found grappling. Like I was in love with jujitsu before I think I even went to my first class. Like I wanted to compete in actual competition, I think, before I even went to my first class. And I had never done any martial art or anything.
That's awesome. And that's just because you were listening to it. You were finding inspiration through Joe Rogan. You were hearing stories like Matt's, and it was just the seed in your mind. I'm guessing, as you say that, you're finding the hope before you even walked on the mat, right? So talk about walking on the mat for the first time. So you're introduced to jiu-jitsu through Joe Rogan. Talk about walking on the mat for the first time, man.
Like it was. I mean, I probably did the worst entrance you could probably do to a gym. I think I put my cigarette out on the way into the gym. I think I had about half a pound of spaghetti before I went there, and I think I was throwing up about 10 minutes into warm-ups.
Bro, you was that guy.
I was that guy all the way too.
I got to tell you a funny story when you said throwing up the spaghetti. So not too long ago at our academy, there was a new guy came in, and man, he was just, first day, he was going just balls to the wall, man. He was going all out. And we were sitting in the circle during instruction. And all of a sudden, man, I hear this dude just throw up everywhere. Right. I mean, and he was, he was embarrassed. And I immediately went and got towels. I'm like, hey, bro, don't worry. I wanted to be like, you got to get off the mat. Right. But you said spaghetti, and that guy had a lot of macaroni and cheese, bro. So it was horribly gross to clean up. But we've all been there, right? We've all been that guy.
and that gym was very that was like very old school. You do like the 45 minutes of hard cardio, of like pretty much CrossFit and stuff before you do jujitsu.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So when did you actually start doing jujitsu? So you go through this life transition. And first of all, man, let me tell you, congratulations on catching and kicking the addiction habit early.
Oh yeah, it's
awesome.
It's crazy.
Yeah, dude. As someone who's done a lot of funerals to addiction, to be very honest with you, tomorrow at 12 noon, I'll be doing a funeral for someone who lost her life to addiction. And so stories like yours are inspiring, encouraging to me, to others. And that's why I love, giving people like you an opportunity to share their story. There's too many young people that never see their 30s or their 40s because they get trapped.
And it's a different generation. I hate to even say it. Like it's a different generation of drug use. When if I was probably doing the same amount of drugs I was doing in my 20s now, I would probably be dead because of the fentanyl in the street. Just the random amount, like the carb fentanyl randomly in cocaine and stuff like that now. Like that never was no one ever used to overdose really on cocaine unless you were being really stupid.
Right. Right. Yeah, man. So we're thankful for your life, that you're living, you're well, you're breathing. You found jujitsu.
Yeah.
But you didn't just find jujitsu, bro. Listen, you're you're a guy that I pay attention to. I watch you, man. You love competition. You've competed against guys even like Sean Foster, who's a brown belt. I got to tell you, man. He sent me a message as I was looking for different people to get on the card, and he sent me a message. He goes, "Dude, you got to get that Kevin guy on there. He's awesome. He beat me." He said that guy's good, man. So even Sean behind the scenes was like, "Dude, get that guy on the July card. He's good."
Oh,
So
he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
yeah. So you take to grappling, you take to jujitsu, man, and it and honestly, like, right, you love the drugs. It probably become your new drug. Would you say you're
Oh
addicted
yeah,
to
for
jujitsu?
sure. For
Yeah,
sure. 100%.
copy.
And
So
like I found out that I'm autistic too. I've found out along my journey. And so like it it comes out that like I found out about like special interests and stuff and how autistic people really will like
yeah,
focus in on something and just go all in on it. And that's definitely, I recognize that in my life, that is jujitsu.
yeah, that's awesome. And dude, that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand is that autism, the spectrum of autism is
Oh,
very broad, very broad.
it's pretty
Um,
much anyone, I think, especially in my generation, like the guys born around mid 80s, when they were just diagnosing anyone with ADHD and stuff. Like pretty much, I think anyone like are in that envelope pretty much back then would now be considered autistic.
yeah, dude, it's when you when you mention autism. June 18th, at our home academy, Professor Dave Freitag, he started a thing called BJJ for Bridgeway.
Hmm.
He has his son, his oldest son Tyler, is nonverbal autistic, and this year we're trying to raise 25,000 total, and that will put them over $100,000 raised for Bridgeway. And again, that autism spectrum, man, is so broad, and there's so many people
Hmm.
that do not get the service and they do not get the education or care they need. Families go underserved. So who knows, man? If you're around June 18th, man, you want to drive down and hang out with us. We're gonna do the 100 round challenge. It is 100 5-minute rounds. We have 24
That's
hours to
crazy.
complete it. Oh, it hurts, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm 43. Last time
Oh
I
yeah.
did it, oof, man.
Yeah,
But
I did like 10 rounds today and that was hard.
we'd love to have you come down. The trick is we can't roll it all like it's the gold medal of worlds,
Oh, for
So,
sure, for sure.
but so just learning more about you, hearing your discovery on your journey, man, of your own self. How has jujitsu kind of helped you in that self exploration, that kind of um, self kind of guiding, directing, forming portion of your life?
I mean, basically at this point, it's almost everything. I mean, I'm basically all in on jujitsu now. I'm living a jujitsu bum basically lifestyle. I get by on what I don't have that ton of students. I'm not in a huge town. I'm getting by on that, and then like I ref, and then I try to ref probably 2 to 3 times a month.
Yeah.
And I'm just found the more I go all in on jujitsu, the more I get back from it, and I haven't found a negative on that yet.
Yeah, absolutely. What's training look like for you, man? So on a weekly basis, I know you've recently, and we're gonna talk about your team. We're gonna talk about
Mhm.
you as a competitor. But one of the big things that's happened right now, you have opened a new academy. You've moved into a new space, um, been renovating that. So what's that like? What's it like being an academy owner, man?
I mean, it's really put everything in my jujitsu, I think, in fast forward. Like it's really forced me to do. Like I think I was really blessed to like be able to have a gym as a purple belt, as like without I don't have the negative. I don't have some of the experience, but the positive, I get to learn on the fly and I get to do it my way, and I get
Mhm.
to follow some amazing guiders and like Chad Hawkins and Heath and all the other guys at the team. So I mean, like I can't really pick a better crew of guys to mirror, and that's basically what I'm trying to do is do the best version of that as I can up there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I think you just dropped some names, man. Chad Hawkins, multi-time world champion. He's
Oh
been on
yeah.
this show
I think every belt.
at every belt. Heath Pedigo. So it's no secret you're part of Pedigo Submission Fighting. You're in tell me the time you're again. Newego, is that correct?
Newego, Michigan. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
For
you're in
about.
Newego, Michigan. But here's the listen, man. I think it's a huge statement. Chad Hawkins, Heath Pedigo, you're a purple belt, but they have put their blessing on you to be an academy owner, an affiliate, an instruction, and you are learning from some of the biggest names and the best names in the game right now. And
Absolutely.
so, how is that? Like, hey, you're calling up, and he's a good dude, man. You're calling up Heath, you're calling up Chad, and they're leading you through this process. What does that relationship look like for you?
Oh, like especially with Chad, it's been like off the chart. Like I've never had, for the first time I think in my jiu-jitsu career, it feels like I have like someone who's invested in my jiu-jitsu and truly cares about the direction of where it's going. I've had a lot of people that are like definitely have guided me along the way, but like he's the first one black belt that I think has really stepped up and showed me the way and like really kind of like took me under his wing.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about competition.
Mm-hmm.
So there are people who are hobbyists. There are people who want to lose weight. There's people who want to learn self-defense. And then, dude, there's those people who become compulsively obsessed with competition jujitsu. Um, I I'm one of those guys, dude. I got a late start in life at 37, 38. And I remember I trained for like 6 months. I went and did a grappling industries. I got killed, but
Mm-hmm.
I knew that day I want to do this. I don't know
Oh
what
yeah.
this is, but I love this. I fell in love from the first moment and have been obsessed ever since.
Absolutely same thing. I did a tournament, I believe 3 months in, 2.5 months into jiu-jitsu. I didn't know any rules. Barely, like I think I showed up. I think I missed weight. I think that's the only time I've ever missed weight. I didn't even know really about weighing in. Like I never had weighing in before anything. I just signed up for a tournament and I thought that was it.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything else. I think I might even clicked like some like way under button. I think I was like signed up for like flyweight or something like that because it was the first button that I didn't select anything on the wait list. So like I think it was let me think. Harvey back from Warrior Way. He allowed me to compete, so that really like didn't sour my competition bug.
Yeah.
And so I've definitely had it ever since then, and I've been on pretty much any tournament in the Midwest I think I've done.
Yeah. That's awesome. So is there a rule set that you as a competitor prefer? So you've done IBJJF, you've done grappling industries, you've done Fuji. Um, what's your preference in rule set?
I think for watching, I would say ADCC.
Yeah.
As an older guy, I mean, I don't really want to get slammed when I'm in sub, but I mean, I'll do it if that's the rule set. I'll do it every now and then.
Yeah.
But I think the IBJJF current black belt no-gi rule set is pretty good. They need to get rid of just a couple of the weird rules they have, but like I think they just need to thin down their rule book, and they'd be really like it'd be a lot better.
Yeah. Have you
But
spent any
I
time?
really like them allowing black belts to. I think they should allow purple belts to heel hook.
Agreed. As someone who's a Masters 3, it annoys me that you can't heel hook. Right. I'm in a gym.
Yeah, I think it's an inevitable that they will have to with like the level of people of competitors that are masters now. I mean, we got Meow as our master one, so you're not going to let them heel hook in competition. That's just stupid.
Exactly. And let's just be honest, man. It's part of the game now. Like legs. This is what heel hooks, leg locks, man. It's just part of the game now, right? And you just kind of you got to accept that. I mean, I can tell you in my academy that I'm part of at Grove City, like if you walk in the door as a white belt on a no-gi class, it just might be your first night. You're learning heel hooks,
Oh, that's,
now, that's how it is.
That's what I've been teaching for the last 2 weeks. I had multiple people their first day. We were teaching I was teaching them saddle escapes and turning your heel down. I mean, like It's
Yeah.
the modern game. You needed. I got heel hooked by I think he was an 18-year-old white belt that tried to go today.
Right.
You don't know when
Yeah.
they get your heel, you get better tap. I mean your ACL ain't worth that.
Yeah. Tap quick and don't turn the wrong way and blow your own stuff up.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, so I agree with you there. And as someone who again, I don't want easy outs. Like, yeah, sure. If you're older and you're in the masters, fine. Then you should know by now.
Yeah,
Tap early. You know if you're in trouble, dude. You know if
absolutely.
you're in trouble as soon if you're at that high blue, high purple level, and someone gets it, you know they got it. You just
Hmm.
tap, right? You just okay. I'll fight again tomorrow. You tap. You're done. On to the next one. But um, I like you, man. I do love the ADCC rule set. So the Twisted Church stuff that we do, we will typically always do ADCC. Hosting July 16th, hosting one of the Zapatero qualifiers right here in Lewis Center, Ohio. You're going to be on that card. It's going to be up at Matt Brown's gym. We're going to do it in the cage. It's going to be sick.
Yeah.
Now that's EBI rules. So EBI rules, man, 10-minute match. Sometimes there's some criticism about that, but my first tournament that I hosted ever, me and my buddy, my partner Robbie Carter, we did EBI baddest blue belt rules, dude. And it was
Hmm.
awesome. It was a barn burner of a show. Actually, Heath Couch all came down. They brought Michael Pixley down. He competed on it. It was a great show, right? Nick
Yeah.
Creighton was on it. Actually, Nick Creighton won it. He hooked everybody. He was on the mat less than 5 minutes.
There you go.
But what do you think about this EBI rules? You're coming in July 16th. Got an opponent all established. What do you think about that going in?
I think EBI was an amazing concept when it was came out with, and like the way it was first implemented, with the cash incentive for those guys that go after the bonus for the submission in regulation.
Hmm.
I think the minute we saw Eddie take away the cash incentive for the finish
Hmm.
in regulation, you saw guys starting to play for that overtime then.
Yeah.
And then that's
Yeah.
pretty much the only down, like the people to say then. I also I don't love the overtime. I mean, it basically is, to me, it's like doing a slam dunk contest to figure out who wins a basketball game.
Yeah. Agreed. And that's and I know we're going to do it right. We're going to do it well, high level. But it's like I know giving someone your back is the worst
Yeah,
position in
yeah.
jiu-jitsu, right? You have two hooks in, you have a secured seat belt. Now, fine, I can get whatever defensive grips I want, but the fact remains after 10 minutes of grueling grappling, I'm tired, you're tired, whatever. Having a dude on your back with hooks and a seatbelt is not a good situation, right? So,
And going first is such an advantage then.
absolutely, yeah. Because the guy who's going to go second, he's had to work to defend the choke. He's had to work to
Hmm.
get his shoulders to the mat, try to escape as fast as he can, while the other guy's racking up the ride time. So it's always interesting. I love the guys that come out and say, "Bro, I ain't playing with you."
I don't care. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I plan on finishing it way before 10 minutes, but
yeah. That's the
that's the
that's the
goal. I
attitude,
mean,
man. And it probably what I was thinking, it probably if a guy's a dog wrestler, he's got really good defensive skills, he can wrestle.
oh, did I lose you? Fuck.
I got you. Are you there, bud? I
Hello?
got you. Yeah, I got you. Oh, a little technical difficulty, maybe. This happened on my last show with Dion Thompson. Let's see here. He popped out. He'll probably pop right back in. There he is.
Heck.
Yeah, you're back, bro. No worries. No
Awesome.
worries.
There we go.
That happened last show, man. I was on with Dion Thompson. He dropped out and had to pop back in. So no worries. No
Yeah, no
worries.
problem.
So, bro, I got to ask you something. At first, I thought you was using like a lost him again. All right. Hey, if you're watching the show, whether you're catching it live or later, just hang tight. We'll get Kevin back here in just a moment.
All right, there we go.
You're good. We
Good.
got you.
Now we're back. Now we're back.
We're
Sorry.
back. I have to ask you, man. At first, I thought you was like maybe using a green screen, but
No,
then
I'm
I
in a
was like,
tent.
are you in a tent, bro?
Yeah. We're tenting it up here behind the fighter house.
I love it. So okay, let's talk about this right now, man. So you're actually at Pettico up in Mount
Yep,
Vernon.
in Mount Vernon right now. Yep.
Okay, you're in a tent, sleeping
Mm-hmm.
behind the fighter house.
Yep.
What's that like, dude? What's it like being there for practices? How many people were in the gym each day? Walk through that a little bit.
I mean, I really can't even attest to that. Today was my first day. It was my first pilgrimage down here. Like I haven't really had that much of a time. Really haven't been on the team that terribly long. I've been most of my time has been chasing Heath around to camps and like going down to Chad. I've been down to Chad quite often.
Yeah,
Anytime any of those guys like come within 2 hours of me, I'll be at an Andrews seminar, Jacob seminar, anybody. And that's the great thing about the reach of our team now. I mean, I have to get there yet, but I definitely mean to get out to Dante Leon's school down in
yeah,
Cleveland now that he's or not Toledo now that
Toledo.
he's
Yeah,
on the team as well. I mean, it's amazing that the level of people that have joined in the last year.
yeah, absolutely, man. I just saw Dante. Actually, I just talked to Dante maybe a day or so ago.
Oh
He
yeah,
was
he's
down in
amazing.
Circleville. He's a great dude, man.
Yeah,
He actually does a wrestling class at Matt Brown's every Saturday. So those are some
awesome.
high level dudes in there,
I
man,
bet.
getting
Yeah, yeah.
after it. So I may go watch. I don't think I'm getting on that mat with those
No,
guys.
there's levels to this, and I know my
Yeah,
level. That's the
that's
good thing
awesome, man.
about competing.
Let's talk about when you're talking about competing. What are some goals you've set out in your competition journey as a competitor? What's something you say? This is the thing I really want to. I really want to achieve in my life.
I really haven't like thought over like meta goals like that or something like that. I really try to keep it short term
Yeah,
because like those things, like especially for me, my goals have changed so much. I'm not anything special. I lost a lot. I was a blue belt for like 5 years, 5.5 years, and I lost a lot in my first, especially 2.5 years at blue belt. And then that definitely changed the scope of like about 3 years in, I did really good at Master Worlds and I got third that year. And that kind of like broke open, like starting to do a little bit better at some of the majors then.
yeah,
But then this year, I think my goal is definitely I want to win Master Worlds and Nogi Worlds for my age group. And I want to be uh, number one ranked in both
yeah,
those things as well.
yeah. It's great, dude. There's something about those who keep walking through the door. I
Hmm.
I cannot. It's weird. Some people come in and they're like that dog athlete, right? You're like, oh, great, you're a blue belt, or yeah, you're a white belt, but you are a collegiate wrestler, right? And
Hmm.
from day one, you can just tell this guy's going to be a problem. 6 months down the road, this guy's going to be a problem. A year down the road, but it's the consistency, it's the longevity of the person who does not depend on their talent, but who just keeps walking in the gym day after day, taking their lumps, honestly, going through punishment after punishment that I have found that really have the staying power in jujitsu because they're not just so naturally gifted that
Hmm.
they just get it, right? They got to work for it, right? I've seen stud athletes I've been training jujitsu for about 5 years. And so as I've seen people come in that are just dog athletes, and it's almost like they just expect to win, they get bored and they disappear.
Hmm.
But it's that guy who comes in that's not the dog athlete and he just keeps grinding and grinding and grinding. And that dude becomes a problem because he outworks everybody. You know what I mean? It sounds like maybe that's a little bit of your story as well. Just you're the guy that
Absolutely.
keeps walking in the door.
And that's kind of like my story of my entire athletic career. Like my high school was like crazy good at like every sport. Like we won they won the state championship in football. They went like I think 13-1 my senior year and won the state championship. The basketball team went undefeated and won the state championship and had like 5 or 6 guys go D1. So
Wow.
it was like that crazy like level. Like they like those guys were playing like AAU versus like LeBron and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, dude. let me ask you this, man. So jujitsu's obviously changed your life. If as we kind of get ready to kind of close things up here tonight, if you could say anything to any person of any age that's listening tonight, just to inspire them, to encourage them from everything you've experienced in life, right? Jujitsu, family, friends, whatever, school. What simple advice would you give someone that might see your story? The thing about the internet, this lasts forever. It's live right now,
Mhm.
but 6 months from now, 9 months from now, some young kid, some young woman, some old man may stumble across this, watch it, and the power of your story be the thing that really grips them and helps them over the hump. So just speak from your heart, man. What would you say to anyone watching tonight about life?
I mean that I think the number one thing that you can think about life, I mean everything, just look around that life goes on, and just keep going, because life is going to happen tomorrow. If it doesn't, we don't know. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen when life doesn't happen. So let's just live life what we have right now, and like really focus on like just keep going, because tomorrow,
Mm,
I mean, it could be worse, but at least it's better than non-existence, or
mm,
like what we it might not be better than, like, we don't know, so we just have to keep going. And like, I'm not some wordsmith, but like just keep going.
yeah. There's a resolve about you, Kevin. That's what I love, man. There's a resolve about you. You've lived some life. You've been through some things. You found your passion. Jujitsu is a way of life. I like jujitsu is a way of life, and I know some people be like, "Man, that's kind of a cultish." I'm like, "Well, so is
Yeah.
going to church." I mean, I've been a
Hmm.
pastor for 28 years, dude. There's some people that love going to church more than they love Jesus or the world, right? They don't care about making a difference. They love their religion, right? Jujitsu for me, and I got this sneaky suspicion. A guy like yourself as well, you found peace, right? I don't.
Hmm.
I found peace when I'm on those mats, man. Nothing matters to me. I go
Hmm.
numb. I am happy. I understand. Like, wow, this is like I get lost in it. You know what I mean? And I don't.
Oh yeah,
So I
that
I'm I
walk,
just
the walk from the bullpen to the mat when I'm competing is like that. That's like my favorite feeling. Nothing
yeah,
matters then besides, are you prepared or are you not?
yeah,
And then,
yeah.
and you can't, and either you know it in your heart whether you deserve to win that match or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's let's finish. I can ask you a
Yeah, yeah,
million questions.
absolutely.
What's your favorite submission, man? What's your favorite go-to submission? What's something you are hunting, strategically? You just love to hit it.
Esteemus, I love them from everywhere. They're nasty. They're like, I think they're the nastiest lower belt legal submission.
Yeah. Speaking of that esteem lock, brown belt Zach Edwards got me with that last week. We were in our comp class. We were training, and and he caught that, and I was like, "Daggone it!" You know what I mean? That
Mhm.
I those are nasty. You're right; they're nasty from everywhere. Um, any position in jujitsu that you like, man, I just hate being there. This is just I hate this position. I hate this series. I don't want to be there for whatever reason. What would that be?
I mean, it used to be wrestling, but I've tried to like fall in love with wrestling.
Hmm.
But like, I don't know. I can't. I mean, who doesn't? Who loves getting smashed on side control? I don't think anyone loves having like some higher. But like, I really think the worst thing and the most frustrating thing is when you're rolling with that higher belt and they have you in open guard or something, you can't move.
Yeah, sure. That's good stuff, man. That's the I think something I've really fallen in love with, man, is um just just the ability, like when you're rolling with higher belts. Like I always think when I'm rolling with higher belts, this is me working on my defense, right? I'm gonna
Hmm.
try to not get submitted. I'm gonna try to survive here. I'm gonna work out of bad situations. When you start shutting down certain offense, then they kill you with something brand
Hmm.
new that you're like, what was that? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Oh, I got mirror locked from this weird position or whatever. Um, but I don't know how you approach it. I approach it. I have like different categories, right? If I'm rolling with this group of people, I'm working on defense in this, right? If I'm working with this group, people that are most like me, and it's like a
Mm-hmm.
50-50, then dude, I'm working on my offense, knowing that they are, have the ability to defend. And if I'm working with lower belts, right? New blue belts, white belts, dude, I'm trying all my new offensive things. I'm trying to just get in those positions. That's kind of been my approach. What's your approach to training on your reps of working different aspects of your game?
It's really changed since I've started teaching, because I've really had to uh, narrow what I'm working on, because I may teach one thing, but then I'm working on something else at the
Sure.
same time. I may catch the same ankle capture on everyone the whole night without them really realizing that I'm practicing that, and then letting go and letting them work then. And then if I got couple of my higher students, I really go, I'll really turn it up on them and start showing them all the submissions then. And then today, I was exactly like you were talking about with the higher belt that plays a lot of your game. I was rolling with Josh Murdoch, who's amazing with leg entanglements and going for leg locks, and it was rolling with myself and fast forward and better.
Mm.
So it's just awesome, just seeing recognizing everything that he's doing, but
Yeah.
okay, you see it coming, but okay, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's my favorite part, man. So, studying jujitsu, like if I'm not rolling, I'm reading, I'm watching, I'm studying on a daily basis. Like it's that freeing spot. It's kind of cool to be in those roles with those higher belts, being able to almost play by play talk to them about what they're trying to do to you or what they are doing to
Mhm.
you, but then not being able to stop it. Like
Mhm.
what's happening, but oh well, I can't stop it because there's these three, details to what he's
Mhm.
doing or she's doing that I don't know. And that's the difference between success and failure of their offense, right? So that's awesome, man. I find those things to be inspiring, encouraging as a student of the game, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's where we get better. I think I sent that message to you earlier. Like we get crushed by these higher belts, but those are the things that actually sharpen us. So then
Oh
when
yeah.
we're with people most like us, they're dead.
Mhm.
We murk them. So
Yeah.
well, you murk them. Your jujitsu is
Oh,
probably way better than me.
I get murked too. I mean, I think the last two majors, I've visited Valhalla, so I mean, it happens to the best of us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dude, thank you so much, man, for spending some time. I
Anytime.
super looking forward, man, to having you here July 16th. You'll be competing. That's going to be awesome to get to see you compete live and just hang out, dude. And then you'll be reffing the very next day, I believe, at
Yep, I'll
Grappling
be repping
Industries.
the Ohio Grappling Industries event that day.
Yeah, that's going to be over in Newark, I believe, which is Cherry Valley. Is that right?
Yep, and then next weekend there's an event in Cincinnati as well.
That's right. That's right. June 11th, Grappling Industries will be here. I won't be there at that one. I'm doing pay-per-view for
Okay,
MMA. So yeah, Ohio Combat League gets down that night. So I'll be here in
awesome.
Columbus. But bro, listen, thank you so much. Thanks for sharing your story. Thanks for being vulnerable. Thanks for being encouraging. I really hope anyone that sees us tonight, whether it's live or like I said, 6 months, 9 months, a year from now, they're gonna hear your story, dude. And as you live it out, as you walk it out, as you speak it out, that you're gonna keep changing lives, dude. That's what
I hope
jujitsu
so.
does for so many. Well,
Yeah, I mean, if I can do that, I will. It's living a good life. It's
yeah,
living a
man.
great path of a life that I'd love to be on.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Bro, listen, so glad to have you join. I definitely look forward to being with you in the future. If I don't see you before, I'll see you in a couple weeks, man. And we'll be up
Absolutely. Take
there at
care.
Matt Brown's. And hey, train hard and give those Daisy Fresh boys some love from Columbus, Ohio, man. And we'll see you soon, bro.
Absolutely, and safe training to my opponent as well.
Awesome. All right, let's go, man. Talk to you
All
soon,
right,
bro.
later, man.
See you.